Hello, my loves. Welcome or welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Welcome to the family. I'm honored to have you. If you are returning, welcome back. I have missed you. Today's reading, we are receiving messages from the Goddess Themis. Themis was a Titaness. She was one of the original Titan gods, the daughter of heaven and earth, or Uranus and Gaia. And she carried many roles. She wore many hats, but she was highly revered, highly respected, and her presence within this world actually can be found all the time, even when we don't realize that it is tied to her and her energy. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a frog in my throat this morning. But Themis was the second wife of Zeus. And together, her and Zeus created the Horae, the Morae, and the Hesperides. All of their children were designed to help bring more order to the natural world, to help the human race, to help humanity understand what natural cycles are, what natural order is. She also was said to be the creator of all the animals of the world. Themis was known as the goddess of divine order. She would bring down the laws of the gods to man, but she also presided over any kind of conflicts between the gods. She summoned assemblies, and she alone stood and listened to both sides of an argument and did so without any prejudice or personal interpretation. She only heard what was true, and her decisions were made based off of that. Now, if you've seen the thumbnail, or if you are listening to this and inferring, well, that sounds like the symbol of Lady Justice in the world, that's exactly who it is. Themis was considered the founder of justice. And the truth is that her daughter, I believe it was Dicey. Yes, her daughter Dicey was actually the goddess of justice. So she was the mother of order, justice, and peace. And that was the Horaes. They also represented the seasons. Themis has been in my life for months without me being fully aware of how much her and I have been working together, how much she has been assisting me. And sometimes when we are working on our own journey and our own path, and we're doing these things and learning these lessons, sometimes we don't realize how much help we have from the divine world, from the spiritual realm. Sometimes we just don't realize it. This is one of those times where I just simply didn't realize it. One of the things she has been helping me, and she is here to help all of us with, has to do with the overall witch rune theme. And that is the symbol for woman, is what it's called. However, this symbol represents healing and rejuvenation and receptivity and the soft energy that is the divine feminine. However, it also represents the wisdom that comes from knowing the cycles of things. Women go through cycles because it's part of their natural body. They are naturally attuned to the world. This reading and her energy here is to help us remember that whether we identify ourselves as male or female, we all have divine feminine energy within us. And that means that we all come into a balance, and we all go through cycles, and we are all meant to learn certain times in our own personal journey and our own life and our own even natal charts that don't quite match with what everything else says out there, but does for our inner world, so that we may be more attuned to our own natural cycles, our own natural flows of life and death and rebirth, so that we do not create more tension internally and in the world, but instead surrender to everything that is natural and understanding that there is a divine order to all things, even when we can't understand it or see it at the moment. Themis is also the goddess of diviners, of oracles. She was a giver of oracles. She inherited the Oracle of Delphi from Gaia herself, which means she was gifted, blessed, and inherited the foresight, the hindsight, and the present awareness of the things that Mother Earth needed. Now, I don't think that it's any surprise to anyone that this is a time in the world in which she would come through and say there is a divine order to things, and we need to learn how to flow with it. There are many, many changes going on with Mother Earth herself. There are many things that are coming through that are very terrifying for a lot of people. There are many readers picking up on this energy. Every one of us has the ability to feel into this and to find what it is that we can do on a personal level. This reading will help you find a little bit more about the pieces of the puzzle that you may feel as though you have been missing, things that you may feel as though have been out of balance or out of order. And it is here to help bring those back into balance and order through the open receptivity of healing. We have 4 piles. Each pile has a card and a witch rune. Yes, I did just mix up my letters. Pile 1, we have the card 23 with the giveaway, and we have the rune flight. Pile 2, we have the card 54 and the sweat lodge with the rune man. Pile 3, we have the card 61, water, with the rune star. And pile 4, we have the card 20 with flow and the rune scythe. I'm going to give you guys some time, look over the runes, get in touch with your inner voice, your inner compass, your inner guidance, and ask your guides, your angels, your ancestors, spirit, the cosmos. Ask for guidance. Ask to be led where it is that you are needing the absolute most right now to find order and balance in your life. And I will see you at your piles. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the first card, the giveaway, as well as this flight rune, this is the message from Themis, Goddess of Divine Order. The giveaway card and flight both talk about releasing, of changing, of messages, of gifting things. When I look at the giveaway card and touch into, 23 reduces down to 5. 5 can be about change. It can be about conflict. However, what I'm feeling very strongly for you guys is as though you've taken all of the things that have been really conflicting within your own mind, within your own awareness, within your own being, in terms of your ideas, your inspirations, your creative talents, your psychic abilities, and you've essentially found a way to put them into this kind of ball and release it. I'm actually being brought to an episode of Ghost Whisperer, and it's in the first season, and it's about a spirit at the railroad crossing. And it's this little boy, and his father and mother have suffered such a horrible loss that, like, the loss of a child is not something that even I can fathom in the sense of how they lost their child. And his dad is so angry because they went to court and it seemed as though justice was not served because of the situation. And so the father decided to take justice into his own hands. But he was doing this out of a place of pain and anger and loss and wanting someone to pay for the pain that he was enduring. In order for this situation that he was in to be diffused, it was his son speaking through, Melinda, the ghost whisperer, and talking about how his dad had taught him that when he has all these mad feelings, he should take them and make them into this ball and then kick it as far as he can so he doesn't feel them anymore. This is the energy that I feel like Themis is calling you to understand. This is coming into balance finally. This reactive anger energy that there is just nothing in the world that's going to balance out, that you cannot do the things that you wish to do, and it's you willingly giving it up to spirit, to the heavens, to your guides, to a higher power, saying, I cannot carry this within me any longer. I cannot continue thinking this way and feeling this way. And I recognize that when I do, it only creates more darkness, more destruction. It's like taking the essence of this darkness that you have within you and you're transforming it, transmuting it into this golden light, this awareness. And you're saying, I'm going to kick it as high and as far as I can because this is no longer serving me. There may be, especially with this flight symbol, this flight rune, there may be truths that you have held back, held in, this awareness, these gifts that you have held in within yourself, afraid to let them out, afraid to utilize them, afraid to share them with others, afraid that you're going to be expected to just give and give and give of yourself without any return. And Themis is saying that everything that you have given so far in a state of true authenticity, of true heart and soul and divine awareness, whatever these things are that you have been doing that feel as though you're just giving them to the world and no one is taking notice, no one is coming back into a sense of return. This is being brought back into a balance. There is a divine order to these things, and there are lessons that are wrapped within those moments and those emotions and those thoughts that you are learning. And the more open you become to the communications coming in for you, the more open and aware you become to how to release these and to see that your gifts are something that you were given so freely, but they are meant to be balanced. They are meant to have a return. They are meant for these things. But you have to move out of the anger and the resentment of how much you have been giving and not receiving in return in order for the balance to come in, because you have to stop expecting that you're going to get I'm hearing a payback for all of these things. Sometimes, and this giveaway card talks about this directly, sometimes we give things of ourselves that we just don't care about anymore. We don't want within our lives anymore. And we think that if we do that, that we're clearing the decks. We're clearing ourselves out. And that means that we're opening ourselves up to receiving. And it's not about giving what you don't want. It's about giving what has value. And this past Mercury retrograde, it ended yesterday. I'm filming this on the 3rd, so you won't see this until the 4th or afterwards. But the Mercury retrograde cycle likely was something that really called into question a lot about how you communicate, not just with the world, but with yourself. What you tell yourself about your abilities and your capabilities in this world, your psychic gifts and your psychic insights, and the things that you have had to release, the things that you've had to walk away from, and how much it feels as though you have sacrificed and not seen anything in return. I just heard the changing of the seasons and the changing of the tides. It's as though you need to become more aware, and this is something that I feel like I'm telling you but you already know it. It's as though you need to become more aware of your own personal changing of the seasons, of what the seasons in the world actually correlate within your own life, and how to blend them together. When you do this, you learn how to open yourself up to the greater level of abundance that is within you. And when you are open to this level of abundance, then the things that you give to the world, you do so freely, because you know that these things are a plenty, a plethora, an overflow. These things, these gifts, these awarenesses, these creative, artistic stylings, or whatever it is for each one of you, because it's going to be different. It's going to appear differently. These things are blessings that you're meant to share with the world. And it doesn't mean that you're not meant to put a price on certain things. It doesn't mean that you're meant to just completely and utterly sacrifice everything, your safety, your security, your financial independence, in order to just give to the world. No, it means that you are meant to understand that when you have this influx that fills you completely, and then it overflows, that you have gifts that you're meant to share with the world. And as you share those with the world responds in gratitude, in abundance, in a desire to give back what you have given. And if you aren't in a place where you understand this divine order of things, this divine balance of things, then you begin to give things away, give yourself away, give pieces of yourself away, and you start bringing yourself to a place where you have broken yourself down and you have pieced yourself apart, and you've given of yourself, but you've given pieces of yourself that were not meant to be given. And that's where that anger and that resentment come in. That is being rebalanced in your life. And it hasn't been an easy process. It hasn't been a short journey. It's not something that just happened like the snap of a fingers and overnight. It's something that you had to really, really dive deeply into this darkness, this hole, this pit, this black hole, this suckingness. You've had to dive in there in order to find the truest essence of your own wings, your own awareness, your own true beauty and harmony and blessings and gifts within yourself. So moving forward, let's find out what more you can do to bring this into balance. Themis, I call upon you and I ask that you bring forth clarity and awareness for pile 1. What more can they do? What are they being called to do, to work, to bring this back into balance in their life, to release this ball, to harness their light, and to move forward and take flight with their ideas and their inspirations and their psychic gifts? What order can be restored for pile 1? That is like a huge step. All right. Here we go. We have the 3 of air. There is studying some sort of, I'm not reading these based off of the traditional tarot meanings. I'm actually going to be using all the cards. I have 2 oracle decks and this is the Dreams of Gaia tarot deck. But I felt very, very called to transforming the way that this tarot deck energies are for this reading, to read it more as the imagery and the messages that come through. Okay. We have the 11 of air with body and mind, and then the 12 of fire with the hero. Okay, and then I'm going to use the back of the deck energy as kind of the overall theme here for moving forward from this ball that you're being asked to kick forward. So we have the 8 of earth, or the 8 of earth. We're going to keep these strictly to the elements instead of the traditional tarot meanings. I'm going as the messages come in on this one, because as I sat with the cards last night, I was not given much of anything. What I was given was 1 card for me to harness with this reading, and that was literally in the Mystical Shaman Oracle, was the Wild Woman. It was like, you need to do this in a completely different way. So bear with me as I touch into this, because we're both learning together on this through all the readings. So we've got the 8 of earth, and you can see she does actually quite embody the essence of the Wild Woman. She's got this staff with a dragon's head. And so the dragon is actually a representative of the divine masculine energy. We think about the dragon in astrological terms as the head and the tail, and that's the lunar nodes. It's the destiny, it's the direction, it's the focus, it's where we're headed. We spend a lot of time working through this tail energy in terms of like the south node, the lessons that we have carried into this life and the awareness and the comfort zone. And we're asked to find the thread that brings us to the top, or the head of the dragon. And the head of the dragon is the north node. It's where you're destined to go. It's the lessons that you're destined to harness in this life for your benefit, but also for the benefit of all. Now, in this sense, she has the head of the dragon in her hand. She has the staff with the head of the dragon in her hand. So the overall energy of this is you're learning to harness whatever point within your natal chart is your north node. You're learning to perfect the energy of your actual destiny. How you can come into that, because you can even see she's holding a ball here in her hand, but it's a significantly smaller ball. So where it was this darkness and it had to be transmuted to light, it's now come back to her and she's learning to use it. And I actually am being brought to like an oracle ball or a crystal ball. I don't know necessarily what an oracle ball would be, but it doesn't feel like a crystal ball. It almost feels like a ball of energy that you would create and no one else can see it, but you can. Like, you create this ball of energy and you hold it within your hands. And this is something that I learned as a Reiki master of key balls. You create a ball of energy and then you infuse it with intention, and then you send that distantly to someone else for distant healing. But with this, it's almost like you can create an energy ball within your hands and just receive visions and messages through the energy ball that you create. It's something very beautiful. It feels like almost like a latent gift, something that you're learning is something that you hold within you. And Themis is coming through and saying this is going to help give you more order, give you more balance, because you're going to be reliant more on yourself than on anything else in the outside world. Now, that's not to say that there isn't help and benefits in the outside world, because we've got this 3 of air. And so to me, the 3 of air will always correlate to the 3rd house in astrology. That is the house of Gemini, the house of Mercury, the house of communication. It's the house of thought processes and education. And this really does support it so well. But if you look, he's got all of these books on his desk. He's got half a skull, which reminds me of Hamlet for some reason, to be or not to be. But he's got this smaller owl. It's like this little seed of wisdom that's growing. And you can see even here, there's the dragon head that's leaning forward and reading or taking in the energy of this book that he's looking at. He's got a key around his neck. He's surrounded by different symbols and different insignias. It's you're being called moving forward to allow yourself to learn in a new way, to receive in a new way, to hear in a new way. And in order to do that, you have to balance out your body and your mind. Now, are you really? Okay. Sorry, guys. I actually was just showing me journaling for the past couple of days, and I was like, do I really have to talk about this until I haven't even worked out the whole process myself yet? So during Virgo season, I did a lot of shadow work, and I actually talked about it in a couple of shorts, and I've talked about it in a couple of videos, but I did a lot of shadow work. And how I did that was I was working with a tarot deck that is designed to really help you see your shadows and see the ways in which we all have very similar shadow energy. So we can work through them by realizing that there's 2 sides of it and finding where within us we have these triggers, these emotions, these thoughts. It takes a lot of serious personal responsibility and personal accountability to just be that brutally honest with yourself. I got to say that sometimes I think I'm kind of a masochist for shadow work, because I will literally sit there and I'll let my shadow be triggered so that I can identify the thought processes that I have internally that create this negative communication with myself so that I can heal that. What I've been doing during Libra season, there's 22 days left of Libra season when I started this. And what I have been doing for it has been every day I sit down and I do this initial journal to kind of clear my mind, clear the clutter of the present situations going on around me, get my energy cleared out. So just kind of it's like Julia Cameron's morning pages. I'm just dumping into pages what I need to dump out of myself so that I can get in touch with myself without being focused on anything that's going on in my outside world, because I'm trying to bring my internal world and energies into balance, because I recognized that my mind was out of tune or in dissonance with my heart and my body. Your body and your mind are not on the same page. And here you can see they're working on getting on the same page. Here you can see that when you alleviate yourself from this tension and this mindset, this constant cyclical mindset that you have, when you release yourself from it, you bring these two things into a balance. Now, the reason why we talked about my journaling is because when I recognized that there was one part of my three main energies, body, mind, and heart, out of balance, I said, I need to do something. I need to change the way that I'm journaling. I can't be completely focused on my mind because it's not helping me anymore. I'm just continually triggering myself. So how do I fix this? And what I did was I set 3 tarot decks to represent the mind, the heart, and the body. And this was inspired by that collective reading with the 3 rings. Because in the center ring, the bigger ring, that's your heart. You want your mind and your body to be aligned and coming into alignment with your heart. That means that you're flowing all of these things together into your center. The calling that Themis is saying is you need to realize here that your body and your mind are trying to work together. So your body will tell you when you have a negative mindset. It might manifest in a blocked throat chakra. And I say that because I feel very blocked in my throat chakra in this reading, but I didn't prior to it. So that may be one of the manifestations. It may be you feel like you have to mask yourself in any and every situation because you don't know how to embrace and surrender to the gifts that you have because your mind is telling you it's not safe out in the world for you to share your gifts. And Themis is saying if you do not shed these masks and these layers of untruths of who you are, you keep your body and your mind out of balance. And the more out of balance they are, the more pains and illnesses your body creates in order to make you see that there's something within your mind that needs to be healed. And moving forward, we've got the Hero card, this 12 of fire. This is saying that you have the ability to be your own hero. You're not meant to be the hero for the entire world. You're meant to show the world that they have the light within themselves to rescue themselves. When you go forth and you do this for yourself, you're showing them how to harness these energies. The beautiful thing about all of this is I'm not seeing any water energy. And don't panic. Like you likely have a lot of water energy in your chart. I actually would believe that you guys would be what I would say is a water pile, just naturally, energetically, emotionally, water energy. Because you don't need to balance that because you already know how to work and how to flow with it. That energy is so natural to you that now it's the other energies that are saying, okay, you have mastered your emotions. Now let's master your body. Let's master your mind. Let's be the hero in our own hero's journey. Hero or heroine, there's no gender connotation here. It's just the wording, guys. But let's do this. Let's see our own worth. Let's see what we hold within ourselves. And let's move forward and realize that we weave into our lives the awareness and the signs and the messages that we actually need. We're weaving that into the world for ourselves. And so because of that, you're learning how to harness all the other energies that you are not naturally inclined to. And that can be something that makes you feel really angry because I don't know what I'm doing. Like that's the energy I get. Like, I have no idea how to work with these elements. I want to be in the water. It's like the reversal of Ariel. Like she wanted to be on land, but it's like you want to return to the water. It would be like Ariel's daughter Melody in the second one. So what kind of advice and healing can we give for pile 1? Themis, can we give some advice and healing for pile 1 so they understand that these natural energies are not just natural to the world, but natural to themselves, natural to their life to their flow and are meant to help them. We've got the card 39, which reduces to a 12 with miracles and ancient wisdom. And then 42, which reduces to a 6, wings of light and becoming something new. And here on the back, look, we've got 32, which is the reflective energy of this giveaway. And that to me is saying that when you do this, when you choose to release this ball, this amount of tension and energy and pain that you've been holding on to, when you release that, you're going to start seeing that as you reclaim your power, all of these difficult things just become easier and they flow easier because you are flowing in much more harmony. So this is telling me a lot that when you harness these energies, you're going to literally just see the miracle of who you are. It's like you're learning how to touch into this ancient part within yourself, and that this wings of light and becoming something new. And, you know, she's got wings here too that really look like wings of light. So take that as a double confirmation. She's streaking rainbows behind her. It's like you're learning how to harness all the colors, harness all the energies. And this becoming something new, if you think about the path of the caterpillar turning into the butterfly, that process is so painful. It takes so much work because you go through all the phases of the caterpillar, the pupae, the larvae, all of that. You go and you eat and you get yourself prepared, and then you have to recognize when the seasons change, when the weather changes. So now you have to go into the work mode of building your cocoon. So now you have to build your safety net. You've got to build your transformative area. And then after that, now you have to break yourself down completely, turn yourself into nothing more or less than goo, and be completely and utterly reformed into something. That is not an easy process. If you put yourself into the mindset of the caterpillar and you know that you're building this thing that feels very comforting, it feels very warm, it feels very safe, but within that, everything that you've ever known about yourself is about to change. Everything that you've ever felt about yourself is about to change. You, in your very core essence, is changing. It can be very scary. It can be like, why do I have to do this again? Why am I going through this? How is this changing? And it can hurt. Your body reflects the changes that you're going through internally. So the more pain and the more illness that you have, the more changes are actually occurring if you surrender to them, trust them, and understand that there are actual medical miracles in the world. And I'm living, breathing proof of that, because I used to be chronically ill. I used to be in chronic pain. I would not have ever been able to be here. Say 5 years ago, I never would be here. I would be in bed sick. I would be in the hospital sick. I would be having surgeries, having body parts removed. It was not good. My body was going through transformations I could not understand until now. And even now, there is no medical explanation for the things that have happened to me, but it is a miracle. It is a miracle. And we have this wisdom rooted within ourselves. In the blood that flows through our veins, in the souls that we carry, we have this ancient wisdom, and we know how to surrender to miracles, because the divine gives miracles to those who surrender, who know what they're here to do, who know this, and who willingly go into that cocoon and become something new. They become a beacon of light in the world, and they trust and know that what they've gone through has been enough in order to shine that forth. Look, we've got 44 and home. And if you think about, and then 14 with teaching. And on the back, we have 3, slow but steady. And that is that cocoon journey. It takes time. It takes being in touch with the natural seasons, the natural flow, the natural essence of everything. You have to be consistent with your own healing. And this home card is literally telling me that you're learning how to be home within your body. And when you go through this spiritual transformation, you can go through a phase where you are more at home in the higher realms than you are in your body. And so you can end up forgetting about your body. And your body will talk to you. It will speak to you. It will tell you what it needs. It will tell you you need to come back. You need to get back grounded. But that journey to get back home can feel like it's nothing but a broken maze. But no matter how broken the maze feels, there are crossroads, there are crossings that will bring you directly to the path that you're searching for, to find that comfort in who you are, to find that comfort within your body, to find that comfort within your energy, within your messages, within your gifts, within what you are here to help create in your life. Because you have been learning, and now you can feel that you are starting to be called out to teach. But when you are called out to teach, then you feel as though you have all of this. Well, I've done this and this and this before. What if it ain't? Not what ifs. The what ifs will plague you forever. But if you release them and you allow yourself to see that this home, you're so deeply rooted in yourself now, and you understand this place that we call home, this earth that we call home. You may have gone through, say, a starseed awakening where you really didn't feel at home here, and now you realize why you came. When a starseed realizes why they came, there's an overhaul that happens in their mind, in their body, in their soul. There's this overhaul that happens because they know that they cannot be detached from this place anymore. They know they have to root themselves. They have to ground themselves because they're here to teach the world something new, something of a different place, something of a different essence. And that takes time. Any seed that gets planted takes time to grow. And when you are growing an oak tree, that takes great amounts of time. You hold the ancient wisdom within you to bring all of this back into order and balance. And Themis is saying that your mind is being cleared and your energy is being cleared. It's being realigned with your body so that you can become the walking embodiment of this perfection, of destiny, of direction, of divine wisdom, of ancient wisdom, of miracles, of light in this world. And it's been a slow process. And you're being 100% acknowledged for the diligence and the dedication. It's almost like Saturn is sitting up and like, hell yes, that's my child. Hell yes, that child learned from me. And you know what? Themis and all of her children were Saturn's grandchildren. When you know yourself, when you are willing yourself to release the ways that things used to be, the angers, the reactionary nature, when you release all of that and you realize that it doesn't matter what came before, what matters is how you utilize the lessons from that and move forward. And you just stay very diligent about what you know. It doesn't matter what anyone else says in the outside world. It only matters what you know within yourself. And when you harness that, and especially as a starseed, coming back home to your body here in the physical form and seeing the blessing and the beauty that is the experience that you get to have, no matter how many struggles and hardships they are, but the beauty that is this, because you get to plant seeds from another place, another space, another generation, another anything. You get to plant seeds that this world doesn't have within it. Based off of what you know, what you've learned, you teach a new generation how to do this process, how to overcome this process. And I am telling you right here and now, this is what it means to wield a sword of truth. You are being gifted with the ability to wield this in your own way because of a level of awareness and trust and blessings and miracles that are working their way into your life. because of all that you have done, all that you have sacrificed, and all that you have learned to harness back within yourself with absolute dedication. The world is going to be transformed based off of what you have to share. And all I'm hearing is don't overthink it, just trust. All right, pile one. Wow, this was absolutely profound, which it does not surprise me because I always expect that when I do my readings now because my community is so amazing. And I want to say thank you so much for being here. I also want to say thank you so much to the Goddess Themis for these amazing, insightful wisdoms and messages so that we may find more balance and find more order in the natural world, working together with the higher realms and with each other here to bring more awareness in. Thank you so very much. I want to say thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connections between our energies, for bringing you here to this reading. And thank you so much to Spirit, to our divine creator, because no matter how many times I struggle, no matter how many times I fight back, you are always there lovingly nurturing me forward so that I can bring these messages forth so that others may find you in the world. And that is a blessing in my life that I get to share with others. And I am grateful. Pile one, if this resonated, please hit that like button, share it with your family and friends, share it out on social media. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming readings. Down in the description box below, you will find links to my Amazon author page. I have all of the planetary retrograde guidebooks save for Jupiter and Mars. Jupiter is not going to be written this year. However, Mars is in the process. It is making great progress right now. I'm about 120, 130 pages into it, which is wonderful. And it will be ready before the retrograde. I can't give you a definitive date as I just don't know quite yet. But if you want to catch up on the lessons and the energies and see how they can harness and help you on your journey, please definitely go check those out. They are available on Amazon in paperback and ebook and Kindle Unlimited. I also have 3 self-help books that are available on Amazon, and they are very revealing about my journey and how far I have come. But they are there to help bridge my experiences with people going through similar experiences to help you understand how to harness any kind of anger. The best bet would be to check out something spiritually catchy, because when I first wrote that book, I was in nothing but a state of anger and resentment and frustration with spirit. And I sat and I wrote 160 pages in a day. And then I looked at it and I was like, this is so angry. And then I transformed it. I transformed it to show you how to transform these things. So this is something that I feel would definitely benefit you and help you. It comes in hardcover, paperback, ebook, Kindle Unlimited. All right. Please let me know down in the comment section below how this resonated. I would love to know because I always love interacting with you guys. And pile one, I will see you at my next reading. I love you all. Bye. Hello, pile two. If you chose the second card and rune, this is your message. So you chose the Sweat Lodge, which is the card 54 and reduces to a 9, as well as, whoops, sorry about that, the rune of man. The funniest thing about this is, as I was tapping into the energies and doing some research on the man rune based off of the witch's rune, because in case you guys are here but you didn't catch my last collective reading, which I have the feeling some of you or a lot of you didn't, I did mention the fact that these are runes that I am personally learning right now. And my intention with them is to utilize them during what I call spooky season. So through the month of October, I intend to use them for my readings. And in doing so, that gives not just myself a chance to learn something new, as I am also providing these messages for you all, but it also helps you all to learn a new kind of awareness, a new divinatory practice. So as I was, let's get back into it. So as I was preparing myself for the reading and, reading up on the man rune, first of all, I'm going to tell you guys, like, when the rune came out and I'm like, oh, that's the rune of man. Like, that's simple for me. I get it. Masculine energy. Great. No, there was something more there. So I actually ended up going back into reading the book that I have that has all of these different breakdowns of different ways that these runes present themselves, the core meanings, and then how you can associate them within astrology. And for the record, if any of you guys are Mars dominated, or you are Aries, sun, moon, or rising, or you have a Mars Aries, this is definitely a huge confirmation that this energy is activated within your current life circumstances. You don't have to have those placements, but that just came through really strongly. But this Mars, or this, Mars, this man rune with the sweat lodge is actually a very dualistic energy. And I say that because the sweat lodge is all about an inner journey. And when we think about doing an inner journey, we think about surrendering to receiving. We surrender to that divine feminine energy of, I need to become more aware. I'm going to go into this vision quest. I'm going to go into this sweat lodge, and I'm going to become aware. The man rune talks about not doing that, about this is not the time for reflection. This is not the time for the inner journey or for holding back, because there is this quick fire energy that burns hot, fast, and burns out quickly. And so now is the time to take directed action. So as I was sitting there touching into both of these energies, and I'm looking at this sweat lodge, and I want to move it up. Hopefully it'll focus. As I was looking here, see, this almost looks like scales that are off kilter, as though the scales within your life, the balance within your life has been completely obliterated. It's like there's this twist of one side of the scales that holds it up, and that's been yanked down. And so the other one has a greater weight on it to balance it out, but it can't balance it out because there's something just stuck on this side. Now, with the sweat lodge is a technique from ancient times. It is used throughout so many different peoples and civilizations. You think about when you go into a sauna, and if you're in there alone, you don't have any music on, you don't have any kind of technology, because it's really hot in there. You're going to fry the battery. So you can't go in there with, say, your cell phone or anything like that. You're in there and there is nothing but you and the heat. And you're in there with the intention of sweating out toxins, sweating things out of your body, getting them out. Well, the sweat lodge talks about not just that, but it talks about using this heated area, this enclosed space with excessive heat, to literally sweat yourself into an awareness state, to sweat yourself into a balanced state, to sweat yourself into revelations and insights and psychic downloads. It talks about going into a space in which you're pushing yourself to the limit physically in order to have a spiritual revelation. Now, I feel like I need to tell you guys that what I'm telling you here is a spiritual awareness of a sweat lodge. There is something different about the way that spirit, and especially Themis, is coming through and saying you need to see this differently. Because when you're in a receptive state, you think, well, I need to be nice and cool and calm and collected, and I need to be open to this. This is not the time for that. This is about some sort of push that you need to do in your life. some push that feels like I'm actually seeing a dung beetle. You know, dung beetles push actual balls of their own dung that are really heavy, and they push them for very long distances. This is about you pushing that last bit up the top of the hill, the steepest part, because you know at the top there is something there. What it is going to be different for everybody, but you need to harness this masculine, fiery energy. And the thing that is coming through that Themis really wants you to know is this masculine energy goes one of two ways. And we see that in the world so often. The masculine energy can burst out, explode, and create chaos, create destruction. It's like the lowest energy of Mars or of Aries, the god of war. It's the lowest energy of that. It is destruction for the sake of destruction. It's going berserk because you know that you're just pissed off and you want to just destroy to get it all out of you. This is saying take the frustration, take the feeling that you're up against a wall or that you're at the steepest part of your climb on your journey and push yourself forward. Create an energetic sweat lodge in whatever area in your life right now feels like it is coming up against the hardest obstacle it ever has, and push yourself forward. Because if you look at the sweat lodge card, when you push yourself forward, you are pushing yourself through the most narrow passage that you have come up against. There is pressure on all sides. There's pressure from the top, and there is nothing but the pathway that you are on. And you know this. You know this with the entire essence of your being, that this is what is right for you. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. I could sit here and tell you, well, you know, you need to take a different path. I could tell you that, and you would have that automatic masculine rejection action towards me. That is something that you need to be aware of. If you're watching a reader right now and you hear something and you're like, no, listen to that. That's not your pride. That is a part of you that is awakening, that is trying to push you past the limitations, past the pressures that you've put on yourself, past the pressures you feel from the outside world, past all of that into a very narrow passageway so that you can get through, get to the other side, and see what you have been trying to see. Find what you have been trying to find. Become aware of what you have been trying to become aware of. I can't tell you what it is because it's literally so much for so many people. But this narrow passageway, the pressure on all sides is what's hanging that side down. It's like trapping the chain or the cord of one side of the scales, and it's keeping the imbalance. The sweat lodge is about receiving this awareness. It's about receiving these insights. It's about going into a place that gives you this opportunity to become something more, to get out all of these toxic negative traits and concepts and beliefs, to shed from you all the things that have been holding you back internally so that you may move forward. It is a very, very divine feminine energy when I tap into it, but you have it coupled with a divine masculine. This is bringing so much more back into balance, but there is an order to these things, and the order that you go through is literally like you having to understand that there are times where you have to take directed action forward and heal this divine masculine, so you stop reacting to things outside of yourself and you start saying, how can I direct this action into something more concrete, more physical, more important, or directed into my life? The 9 energy, I'm getting that 9 of Wands energy where you are right at the cusp of ending. You are right at the cusp of that transformation, that awareness that I have done everything that I need to do on this journey. And now I'm taking all the lessons and I'm putting them on my back, and I am going to go create what it is that I'm meant to create because I have the power. and I know I have the power, and I know I have the wisdom, and I know I have the awareness, and I know I have the tools and techniques and everything that I need, and I know it is now time. You are at that final pushing point. And so Themis is coming in and saying there is a rebalance that needs to happen, but you have to go through the pressure. You have to go through the heat. You have to go through it. It's like you have to step into the fires now because you are meant to transform into the phoenix. And a phoenix cannot rise if they have their feathers falling out and they are at the end and they cannot handle it. A phoenix bursts into flames when it knows it's time. You are at the time where you have to initiate the flames now. No one burns the phoenix burns itself. You have to do this for yourself. No one else can do it for you. And I just saw 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock, and then my ears just blew up in ringing, especially on the right side or the divine masculine side. All right. So Themis, how can they get into this passageway? What can they do? All right, we've got the 12 of air with the scribe, the 6 of air. Oh, you guys got 2 at the end. We've got the card 7 with the sage and the 7 of water. And the back of the deck I'm actually using as the overall awareness or energy or lessons of what's being imbalanced or being brought back into order and balance in your life. So we have the card 12 of fire with the hero. Okay. All right, guys. If some of you were drawn to another pile, please go and watch it after this one, because this definitely feels like there's a little bit of a correlation. But if there is, it's like this, you have to get through this phase to get to that one. And I don't want to mention numbers or, what piles they are, just because it's just not, it's not for me to mention. It's for you to trust. Okay. So right now, this is about allowing for wisdom to be poured into you, knowing that as you move into this energy, this scribe energy is letting yourself be the receiver of wisdom and then the giver of wisdom. It is this beautiful balance of give and take and pushing forward. And I'm looking at the top. Oh my gosh, there's literally a beetle right up on the top. Remember I said the dung beetle, but we've got the bee. And I want to say these are pelicans. They look kind of like pelicans, but I'm not sure what the birds are. But this to me is saying that you have all of this. And even these wings up here, it almost looks like the dung beetle up on top or the scarab beetle, depending on how you want to interpret it, is literally moving up into becoming the phoenix. So this is about you learning that you have this beautiful ability to access different energies and different awarenesses and different wisdoms. It's like you have this permanent connection to the Akashic field. And when you open your mouth, it just pours forth. It just pours out. It pours out like nectar for the world. But if you don't believe in yourself, and if you think that it is too much pressure and too much to take for you to be able to do this, if you feel like nothing that you do or say will ever be met with anything other than duality and fight back, then you won't get yourself where you're meant to be. You won't be able to really truly utilize this energy. And so it's time for you to see the very absolute truth. Themis was the second wife of Zeus. And if you have read anything in Greek mythology, Hera, Zeus's final wife, Hera didn't like anyone. She didn't like any of Zeus's other wives. She didn't like any of Zeus's conquests. She actually fought back a lot. She punished his children. She punished all of them because she was incredibly jealous, because she loved him so deeply that she did not want to see anyone else receiving his affection and his attention and his love and his procreation. She didn't want to see it because she loved him so deeply and she wanted that equality, that love in return, and she never got it fully from him. However, Hera and Themis were very, very good friends. Hera deeply respected Themis, and Themis stood at the right hand of Zeus, stood next to him while he sat on the throne and elicited edicts. She even directed him. She defied Hera when it was not right how Hera was responding, for instance, in the case of Apollo. And she was sure to do what was right every single time. Now, you have within you this awareness. With all the pressure that you feel yourself under, you have the ability to transform it. You have the wisdom, you have the know-how, you have the clarity coming in for you if you surrender to it. If you give yourself over to this awareness within you that wants to arise, if you say, okay, I'm going to push myself forth, I'm going to push myself through because I know this, I am aware of this. You go from this scribe energy where you're just pouring forth all of this wisdom. And it doesn't matter whether you're pouring it into the world, into journals, into just something that you're just talking into existence. What you're doing is you're translating. I wanted to say transponding. I'm not really sure. I think it's like a transponder. I don't know. I'm literally hearing like Rachel in my head during Friends in I think it's season 4 or 5, where the girls and the guys switch apartments because Rachel calls Chandler a transponster. That's what I'm hearing. It's like nobody understands quite exactly what it is that you do, but you understand what it is that you do, and that's all that matters. So it doesn't matter the pressure of other people. It matters what you know of yourself. And here's the best part. This energy, this 6 of air energy, she's holding a staff of wisdom, a staff of knowledge, a staff of awareness. Everything has now been blended together. She's standing and holding all opposites. She's holding all extremes within her. And even though it can appear as though there is a duality, in reality, her center, her core is blended of all the rainbow colors, which means that there's no, I've never heard of this, so you guys have to bear with me. It's like when you allow all of this to pour forth, suddenly there's no separation of your chakras. There's no this chakra is this and this chakra is that, because they have all been woven together into something new, something different, something ethereal. And you see her hair has these outliers of white and black, but as they're coming together, they're becoming this beautiful like lavender color. And lavender is very soothing, very calming, but it's very much the higher realms. It's like you become the essence of divinity in this world. And you do it by blending things together that should not ever be able to be blended together. And that's such an amazing, amazing thing, because I don't know that anyone knows what this is. And that might be where that pressure is in your life, is that nobody knows what this is because nobody has ever done it before, because you're the one chosen to do it. It's like the hero card here. You're the chosen one. And I'm sure you've heard it before. And I'm sure it is part of that pressure you feel is, if I'm the chosen one, then what do I do? How do I do this? What am I going? Where am I going? How do I, all of this. And then it bundles and bundles and bundles, and it turns into the aggression and the rage and the anger and the frustration and the anxiety of that out of balance divine masculine. And so you go through this cycle over and over and over again, but you have the wisdom within you to release it. Look, you literally have 12 and 12 and 7 and 7. You literally have these double energies. You have the double energies. It's like the Hanged Man is meeting with justice, because 7 is literally the 7th house, and it makes me think of Libra, which makes me think of Venus, which makes me think of Themis automatically. She's literally right here with you to help you with this, because she knows what it's like. She was the first goddess of an oracle. She was one of the original goddesses. So what she did was not something that any other goddess does. So she was the founder, the foundation stone. As you allow this wisdom to be poured into you, allow yourself to go through this transformation, and then pour this stuff out. Let it pour out so that it can direct the bee to the honey, or direct the bee to the nectar to make the honey. It's like you're pouring out. It's almost like you're the queen bee, and you're pouring out what you need to pour out in order to direct everybody else to build what you need built. Because you have this essence within you. It's just like Themis. She is literally saying, you are so similar to me. You are so similar to me because I poured forth these edicts. I poured forth the divine messages of the gods. I poured forth these awarenesses, the laws, the order, the balance, the harmony. I poured this forth into the world. I gifted the world with this, but I was the only one. I was the first one that did this. And I was up against all odds because my people were defeated. I had to choose what was right. And sometimes choosing what is right is the hardest choice we make. But if you look over here, the result of this is that you literally become the Sage and the 7 of water. You have the koi fish, which work in such beautiful ways, but the koi fish is literally Piscean energy. So you are harnessing some deep, deep, deep psychic energies. You're not looking at it with anything other than the gifts that you have, because the only eye she has open is her third eye. And this tells me that you will have the wisdom to get through the darkest of times. You will have the maturity to move through the darkness, to move through the darkened forest, and you will have the animals and the wisdom and the guidance that is necessary. And you're the one that's going to do this. And the reason why is because you know how to work with the earth and with water. You have this awareness of all of the elements, but you don't believe it quite yet. And this is what is coming back into balance. Your faith in yourself, your faith in your gifts, your faith in your knowledge and your wisdom, your faith in the fact that you really are different. And that's not a bad thing. It's beautiful. You know what? I know that the way that I channel is different. I understand that. It's something I had to come to terms with. It doesn't make me better or less than anybody else. It doesn't make anybody less or better than me. It means that I work in a different way, with a different energy, with a different connection because of who I am and what my soul chose for this life. And that's a beautiful, beautiful revelation for me to have. But it scared the bejesus out of me in the beginning. And I ran from it because I didn't think I was worthy of it. But when you are in that state of, I don't think I'm worthy of it, then you can't ever get yourself to where you're going to be, because that unworthiness just bears down on you. And it bears down and bears down until you get angry at yourself, and you can either lash out or you can go into the fire, initiate the fire stage and become the phoenix. Accept yourself, accept the wisdom that you have, accept the gifts that you have, because this 7 of water energy that I feel is something that is so ethereal. It's like you're a mermaid walking on land. This is such a repeating theme in my life right now, is mermaids and dragons are everywhere. But this mermaid energy that I feel from you is like you have the ability to take your tail off and on, but you know how to get to the absolute depths. You may have some Capricorn placements, some really strong Capricorn placements, or Pluto may be really deeply impacting you right now, like pressuring you to change. So we have the card 23 with Shamanic Journey. Oh my gosh! Purpose, Attunement, and Vision Quest. I'm sorry for yelling, but seriously, Vision Quest and Sweat Lodge. I definitely said that. Yeah, you guys have this essence. It's so different. It's so different, and the world needs it. You're not meant to be the hero for the world. You're meant to be the hero for yourself. And that's where you've been going wrong. That's what you've been missing. And Themis is like, no, this is what you need to bring into balance. You need to understand. You're not meant to rescue the world. You're not the world's rescuer. You're here to rescue yourself and then lead by example. Show them how to find themselves. Show them how to go through this. Show them. It's like this essence of, you have this, there's such an excitement with your energy now. It's like, you feel so inspired. It's like you could conquer the world. And it's like, now is the time to harness this energy. Oh my gosh. Whew. See, I told you guys, and look, the card 7 again, divine feminine, magnetic, receptive power. You guys are literally shifting into bringing these two into balance. And it's not just balance. This pressure that you feel is integration pressure. This is the pressure that is going to integrate your two essences into one. It is amazing. It turns you into this powerful ethereal force. I just keep hearing ethereal, like, you've been told, I don't know, countless times. I am absolutely certain you have been told countless times that you are an earth angel, and you have felt special from it, or you have felt burdened by it, or you have felt both. And you have been like, well, what do I do with it? You're magic. You're healers. Seriously, again, are you my Reiki pile? Like, are you my Reiki pile? Because this seems to be something that I keep finding. But you have this new healing, and it's something within you. And it's God, it's like the old way of using the hands is exiting. There's something here. It's like you can, I can't even put it to words. Oh my gosh. On the back of the deck, we have the card 8 with divine masculine, electric, and active power. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh. And look, the energy is moving down and then it's moving up. This is like literal magician energy. Are you guys Mercury in the 12th house, Mercury in Pisces in your natal chart? Because that's what this is. This is Mercury. This is some sort of mercurial energy. And I say that because Mercury is the magician in tarot. Mercury brings everything together. But oh my gosh, you guys. Seriously, you guys this pressure that you feel is so important. This moment in your life is so important. Please understand, it's like you are on the freaking precipice right now. And this work that you're doing, this part that you're doing is something that no one else could possibly do. And that makes you so deeply protected. It makes you so protected. Hi, Willow baby. Okay, okay. I'm going to pause and then we're going to get into the shamanic healing oracle, but I got to let the pups out. All right, pile 2, I am back. You know, she does this all the time. I would have to watch back, but I could have sworn it was during pile 3s usually. So maybe you guys are shaking things up and choosing different piles now. But like I said, what you're doing right now is so crucial. And I want you to realize that we have magnetic and electric. We have receptive and active. We have all of it. Everything here is within you. It's activating, it's awakening, it's moving in exact succession. It is growing, it is changing. And right now, I told you guys in the beginning, like I was picking up nothing but divine feminine and divine masculine energy. But this pressure that you feel, the pressure, I just keep hearing the pressure I'm under. The pressure you're under is something that is always going to be there until you push yourself through this portal, this passageway. I don't know what it is. I can't identify it for you. It is going to be different for everyone because this is a collective reading and I'm reading for a large group of people, but it is something that your heart is showing you. And it's so important because the principle of as above, so below is in such a strong awareness here. You are harnessing everything, literally anything out in the world is for you to harness here. All of the elements, all 5 of the elements you are harnessing. It's almost as though you are a walking alchemist of energy. And the world is going to see it now. Like there's no hiding it anymore. You're just this. This is the essence of you. You are all of these energies all at the same time, all together. And you went through, oh my gosh, that makes so much more sense. We've got the 12 cards. It's Hanged Man energy. It's Neptune and Pisces. I keep picking up Pisces, but Neptune. All of the illusions are being stripped away completely. Your vision is completely cleared. This is the time for this balance to come back in. Push yourself through. It's like you have one final push, one final thing that you have left, and you know what it is. I know you know what it is. You know what it is. And it feels huge. It feels monumental. It is meant to, because when Odin went to the tree of wisdom, the tree of life, and hung himself upside down for 9 days, hung himself upside down for 9 days in order to receive the wisdom of the runes. Can you imagine willingly hanging upside down to receive this wisdom? If you think about it in that sense, literally this card looks like Odin. You flip it upside down, he is literally opening his mouth to receive the wisdom in order for his crown to become the phoenix. It's like the wisdom is pouring into you, not out of you. The wisdom is pouring into you so that you can transform it, transmute it, take it from the top, bring it to the bottom. It's like everything. There's an episode of Bones that's now coming up. And it's before Bones and Booth get together. She goes through this case where there is a tree that gets uprooted, and in the roots of the tree, they find a body. And she ends up working really late at night because her days and nights get mixed up, but she recognizes her own life and the things that she's doing within the victim who has died. She thinks it's her. She sees the image, the picture of the person, and the only thing her mind sees is herself. And it's this massive, massive level of spiritual awakening within her of the choices she's making and the ways in which she's separating herself from everybody instead of engaging in life, engaging in connections, engaging in harmony, engaging in the things that she's so afraid to because of so much loss and brokenness in her past. But the whole premise of it is one of the night guards says to her, it takes 3 days for the world to right itself again. That essence of 3, it takes 3 days. It took 3 days in Christian mythology for Jesus to rise up. It takes 3 days. 12 reduces to a 3. 3 times 3 times 3 is 9. Odin put himself through 3 phases of this in order to receive all of the wisdom that he needed in order to move forward in his life. He multiplied it and he brought it forth for others. This is what you're doing. You're multiplying your energy. You're multiplying something. You're adding to the essence of. I don't have any idea what this is, but let's get your healing oracles. We've got 13 in abundance and 11 with new day. Now I have to tell you guys, the number 13 is a divine feminine energy. It is the goddess energy. It's the hidden realms. The 13th sign in the zodiac has been thrown out since Babylonian times because it was inherently feminine, even though it is represented by I think I can't pronounce it, but it's Ophiuchus. And it's the serpent bearer. And it's a man wrestling with a serpent. But every time I look at the actual stars themselves, instead of the imagery and assignment that was given, it looks like a phoenix. Every time I do. Ophiuchus looks like a phoenix to me. And to me, that is the masculine welcoming in the feminine. It's the serpent bearer. It's the healer. It's the balancer. And you're in this energy. And look, we have three coins, 3 levels, 3 energies. It's mind, body, and heart, or mind, body, and soul. It's the masculine, the feminine, and who you are right now coming together, forming into one and moving through the world, because you're bringing something new. You're awakening to something new within yourself. And by doing so, you're bringing that into the world. This is amazing. You are the leader. And here's the thing. On the back of the deck, we have the card 14 in teaching. This is because you're meant to teach this to others. You're meant to show them this. You're going to develop something that is just you. And when you get yourself through this fear, this moment, this singular moment in time where you are afraid, when you push yourself through it, everything rebalances, everything harmonizes, everything blends together into one, and you become the giver of divine wisdom, the giver and the purveyor of the truth. You become the sage and the seer, all in one, the masculine and the feminine, all in one. You become this. You are the hero and the scribe. You are the one who writes the sagas of what you have done for yourself. No one else is here to write your story. You are. Whew. Okay, pile 2. I thank you. Just thank you. Thank you so much, because I have no words for how profound this reading was. I have no words for how profound your energy is. I have no words, but I am in awe. So thank you is all I can muster. I have such deep gratitude for this energy, for this pile, for this message for you guys all. And I want to say thank you so much. You are so amazing. I want to say thank you so much to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between our energies so I could bring these messages forth for you. Thank you so much to Spirit for allowing me to be the mouthpiece of wisdom. And thank you, Themis, for returning to bring forth your edicts and your awareness and your divine order and these messages today, and all that you do for all of us. Thank you. Pile 2, if this resonated, please hit that like button. Go ahead and share this video on social media. Get it out there. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Down in the description box, you will find links to my author page on Amazon, as well as links to donate if you feel so inclined. Go check my books out. There are 8 of them now, 5 astrology books, 3 self-help books, and I am working on the next astrological book, which is Mars retrograde, so you may want to check that out. I think that would really benefit you on this journey, this vision quest, this sweat lodge quest that you're on. I will let you guys know as soon as it's done. I'm about 130 pages into the writing process right now. So please let us know in the comment section below. I really, really would love to interact with you guys, but I just genuinely love interacting with my community, and I love having a community that interacts with each other. So please let us know down in the comment section below how this resonated, how it hit, how it's playing out, if you feel so inclined. If this is something that is a very deeply personal, no pressure. All right, pile 2, I love you all, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the 3rd card and runestone, the card Water with the number 61, which reduces to a 7, and then the rune stone of the star. This is the message for you from Themis, the goddess of divine order. This water card, first of all, the amount of influx of astrological information that came in with your pile was insane. First of all, I was getting strong Aquarius energy. So you may be an Aquarius rising, or alternately, you may be a Leo rising, which puts Aquarius in your 7th house. You may have water energy in your 1st, your 6th, or your 7th house in your natal chart. You don't have to have those placements for this to be your message, but those were some very, very overwhelming energies that I was picking up. But Aquarius energy was the strongest. That says to me that you might be Uranus ruled. You might have Uranus in a water sign. I don't even know if that's possible, to tell you the truth. I want to say it is. It's got to be, because, let's see. Yeah, it's possible. Sorry, guys. So let me explain that. I feel like some of you want to know how it is that I figure out whether or not that's possible. I was born in 1987. In 1987, Uranus was in Sagittarius. We are now in 2022, where Uranus is in Taurus. So what I do is I actually sit down and I think about the difference between Sagittarius and Taurus energy and how many of the signs it passes through, which means that Uranus passed through Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and is now in Taurus. It is absolutely possible for Uranus to be in Pisces. So if you have Uranus in Pisces, this is a confirmation for you. And that would be the only water sign it could possibly be in that I can, well, no, it could be, you could have Uranus in either Scorpio or Pisces, one or the other. I don't know that there is anyone alive who would have Uranus in Cancer, to tell you the truth. Because the last time Uranus was in Taurus was when Nikola Tesla was alive. I am a plethora of random astrological knowledge, especially after going through all of the astrology guidebooks. But let's get back to your reading, because this is not about me, this is about you. The water plus the star is where that Aquarian energy comes in. Now, I know Aquarius is actually an air sign, but it is a sign of the cupbearer. And if you think about the cupbearer is literally pouring out the waters of heaven, or the nectars of heaven, onto the earth. For the full story of that, please go and check out my Saturn retrograde guidebook, which, FYI, Saturn goes direct on the 23rd of October. And now is a really great time. It was a really great time the whole time, but now if you want to be more prepared for Saturn going direct, this would be a really great time for you to grab that guidebook to go back through all of the energies and the lessons. It was very, very like outer world, like the outside world. And I have to do a full disclaimer. There was a lot that had to do with the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, just because Johnny Depp was in his second Saturn return during the time in the sign of Aquarius. And Saturn's energy played out on a global public scale for us all to learn. And I was led to that trial just the whole time. It had deep implications for myself personally, but it also had deep implications for humanity as a whole. Now, the reason why this is coming up is because we are getting messages from Themis. She is the goddess of divine order, but she also is the representative in the world of justice. In that book, and in that case especially, a lot of the energies and the contextual information of it came from the essence of what justice is. Now, Themis stood at the right hand of Zeus. She was his second wife, and he had moved on because he had, I think it was, 7 wives, and Hera was the last. But she was revered, she was respected, and she was consulted continually by Zeus. Now, Aquarius energy is based off of the I think it's Gethsemane, I think is how you, I can't. It's lost on me. I can't remember, but it was a very beautiful boy who Zeus wanted. He wanted the boy. So he went and kidnapped him and made him the cupbearer to the gods, enslaving him, forcing him to live this life. And Zeus had to learn a lesson about what was right and what was wrong. Even though it's not in the actual mythology books or any of the mythological stories that I have looked up, I have a very strong feeling here, and Themis is confirming it with very high-pitched ringing in my ears, that she had something to do with the edict to release the boy. He had a choice. He could have taken the waters, taken the cup, and taken it for himself. He chose to give something of the gods to humanity, knowing that it would help humanity from some of the moments in which the gods acted rashly. Gods were not above emotional responses. Gods were not above reactivity. And we see that throughout Greek and Roman mythology. We've got Ares, the god of war, the god of battle, the god who just goes crazy and destroys. And right now, Ares is very strong in my energy field because of Mars's retrograde. But then you have Mars in the more mature energy who transforms that lower energy. Aquarius takes that energy and transforms it. It blends it. It blends water and air. It blends emotional awareness into everything it does, into a fixed way of being in this world where all of the emotions are a part of how they speak and how they move in the world. And it's not something that they hesitate from because they know what it's like to be enslaved. They know what it's like to be held back, and they value freedom above and beyond. Now, the star energy here talks about the Magi and the North Star. It also talks about the essence of wishing upon a star and knowing that your hopes and dreams and wishes are going to come true. That's a beautiful essence of it. But when I was studying this star energy, the thing that kept striking me the most was about the Magi. There are so many times in our lives where we may believe in something, we may know the worth and the value of something, and there are places and people and belief systems and organizations that don't believe in what we do. An example came to mind as I was sitting here tapping into the energy. I met a random stranger in Walmart one day. We were both looking for canning jars, and we got to talking about life in general. You know, I did like a random mediumship read on her. And it was just one of those moments where, you know, I was doing the thing that I do when I go out and I get a message that comes in. I just tell the person gently, like, hi, I have this message for you. It actually came through later on during our conversation. So it was a very balanced kind of situation, which is great. And I want to say thank you to Themis for that. But in that conversation, I learned that she has a religious foundation, a religious belief that is different from mine. And she actually invited me to go to church with her. And I explained to her, this isn't something that I do. Like, I have had a lot of traumas and issues with organized religion and with the church in specific. And she said, you know, you'd fit right in, aside from, you know, the astrology stuff and the divination stuff. You would, like, your mindset, your energy, your beliefs just would fit so well in here. And that's the thing. It's the aside from part that really caught me, that I didn't realize had impacted me so much, is because we don't get to piece apart ourselves to fit in somewhere. We want to fit in somewhere that is whole for us. And I don't judge her because I think she's a wonderful person and we are friends and we talk and all of that. Like, that was a stranger interaction that turned into a friendship. It was beautiful. But we can't take the pieces of ourselves and negate them. And then I got to thinking about the story of the Magi, the three wise men who followed the North Star to find Jesus. And this is Christianity now. Now we've shifted into a completely different religion. But still, the premise of this is what people don't realize is that in that story, those three knew how to read the signs of the stars, which means all three of them were astrologers. And they followed them to find Jesus. We can get caught up in the emotionality of certain things from the past, certain functions from the past, certain organizations from the past, or structures from the past that want to piece things apart because there are pieces of the whole that are scary. And they're scary because they're unfamiliar. They're scary because someone at some point in time, way in the past, and I can tell you some of when this was changed because I'm one of those nerds who knows about the Second Ecumenical Council and Emperor Justinian and all of that bullshit. But there are things in the past where the structure of belief systems in this world were transformed and changed. And so our ancestors were subject and privy to these changes upon penalty of death. And that is a common theme all the time. But we are now living in a day and an age where it is much more acceptable to accept who we are, to accept the gifts that we have, to accept the blessings that we have, and to accept each and every part of us, including the ones that were labeled as occult and dark and mysterious and magic and damned. All of those things are no longer seen that way. Some may, but most don't. So this energy that's coming into balance with you is this awareness that the things that make your emotions soar, that make you feel the happiest, that make you feel, just to make you feel that searching energy, that following your North Star energy, no matter whether it looks different than the structures and organizations of the ways in which you were raised or the ways in which your family has established for everyone else, those things are now coming into more balance in your life because you're learning how to accept them and accept yourself in a state of wholeness. When your emotions come into a state of balance, that is when you realize that you have a guidance system within yourself and you don't have to rely on what always came before, because what came before was what was needed at that time. What is needed now is hope. It's faith, it's trust, and it's looking to the stars or to whatever is your personal North Star on your journey in this life as your guidance, because it comes from the heart. I think about the energy of water, and when I shower, I actually call in the elements, but as I was learning the elements and the cardinal directions, it didn't feel right to me. North is usually associated with the element of earth, but to me, it just didn't feel right. To me, north makes me think of water. It makes me think of the ways in which when you move north in the world, the further north you get, the more you end up interacting with the element of water on a regular basis, because the colder it is, the more it snows, the more snow there is, the more water there is. So you have this, and if you go far enough north, it is nothing but water. There may be land underneath it, but it's nothing but water, and water is on top. So when I think about north, I think about water all the time. And when I think about south, I think about the way that water falls from the sky down onto the earth. I think about the ways in which we go down deep and root ourselves into the ground. And that to me is earth. And the thing is when you are working with elements, sometimes you're called to change it for what fits for you. That's what I started doing. I started calling in the elements from the directions that felt right to me. Water became my North Star. Emotional awareness, emotional vulnerability, psychic gifts became my North Star. What is your North Star? Right now, what's being brought into balance is the awareness that you have a North Star, how to find it, how to follow it, and the emotional intelligence and awareness and balance within yourself to Be willing to do that no matter what other people might think. Wow. Wow, pile 3. What a beautiful, beautiful thing that you're doing for yourself. And that really is such a strong energy and essence of this, is you're doing this for you first. And that's important because as you do this for you first, that's when it's able to transform your life in the outside world. So we're going to get messages about how you can move forward with this new balance. All right, so we've got the 5 of Earth. Yeah. This 5 of Earth, it talks about the trickery and the deceit, the ways in which we fall to the illusions of what someone else says or what someone else does, or even just the illusions of the mind, the illusions of the physical world. And you're learning that no structure is meant to be universal structure. We are all connected, but not everyone is the same. And because not everyone is the same, you're learning that you have to go through these challenging times in order to transform. So you may have been struggling with getting grounded, struggling with believing that you're meant to be here in the world, feeling as though no matter what you do, you're always going to be deceived. You're always going to be hurt. And right now, that emotion is clouding your ability to feel hope. And when you can't feel hope, you can't find your North Star. But that's really changing for you. Themis is like, this is out skis. This is done skis. We're not doing this anymore. Like, you are not going to be victim to the mentalities of other people, nor the mentalities that has held you back. Yeah, absolutely. We've got the card 17 with Journey. And I love, love, love this card because it also carries a strong energy of Hecate, who I work with quite closely as well. We've got a black butterfly. We also have a dragonfly, a staff. We've got 2 fish. So we've got that Piscean energy again. We've got Piscean energy, but this Journey card, and then we've got the Queen of Air. I love this. We've got the Queen of Air, the 13, the Queen of Air. Okay. I want to put that up on top. I just want to make sure you guys can see the cards. And because I'm a perfectionist, I want to make sure that they're aligned. See, and again, we've got air and earth energy here, air, earth, and water energy. On the back of the deck, we have the 1 of Earth. And I love this Dreams of Gaia because all of the ace cards are dragons. They're dragons correlated to the elements. So that dragons are divine masculine energy. So this is about you being able to plant the seeds of a new financial beginning, of a new beginning in your life. Now, that is something that elicits a lot of deep emotions. It brings out so much. It's going to be something that's like, well, can I do this? Am I right for doing this? And you may have gone through situations in which every time you tried to plant it, you came into contact with people that actually created more illusions. But what I'm seeing here is that you're recognizing this. And like I said, Themis is saying this is not going to happen anymore. Like the sword of justice has fallen. And the sword of justice, when it gets wielded, it cuts through the bullshit. It's like the ultimate bullshit meter. It's like, no way. I'm not going to listen to this. I'm not going to hear this. That's why she's blindfolded. She does not play into personalities, into manipulations, into any kind of narcissism or lies, anything like that, because she sees and knows the ultimate truth because she can hear it. She doesn't have to see it with her physical eyes. She sees it because she is a goddess of divinity, of divination, a goddess of the oracle. So she can see the truth of a situation. She can see what is going to happen, and she will tell you, and she will not hesitate. It doesn't matter what other people say. They can think whatever they want. But you've been through this already. So now it's time to let this go. Let this feeling that you cannot do it go. Let the feeling of lack go. Let the feeling of fear at deception, fear at being overcome, fear that you're going to do it the wrong way. Fear that you're just going to be trapped in this constant battle, this constant cycle, because you're at a crossroads right now. You're at a precipice point. You choose one or the other path, but you also know that you can stand and be in a place of awareness of both paths. What if you could take the middle path? What if you could choose the middle path? You think about any of the energies in the zodiac signs, and all of them carry energies of double elements. So for instance, and this toggles back and forth because sometimes with Capricorn energy, it's very strong, like earth and water, and sometimes it's just earth energy. And then, well, Taurus to me is just earth and earth, but Capricorn can be either way. But with Virgo energy, sometimes it's earth and air, and sometimes it's earth and water. And those are the three elements we have here is earth, water, and air, which makes me think that you guys might be Virgos or have strong Virgo placements, or where whatever house Virgo is in your chart. If you're, say, a Pisces rising and you have Virgo in your 7th house, that energy is becoming more watered, more watery. It's taking the edge of it off, the fear of it off, and it's infusing it with more emotions. Now, the journey card, and it is the card 17, which the 17 actually correlates to the star card in tarot. And tarot is, the star card is the energy of Aquarius. So, I mean, we do have very strong confirmations here, but this journey card talks about how everything that you went through with all of this deception energy, all of this trickery energy, all of this state of lack and false beliefs or inability to believe in yourself, all of that has led you to where you're at. It's about seeing how every painful moment you've ever gone through in your entire life has grown you, changed you, adapted you, melded you. It has given you more awareness. It has opened the realms of the depths of the emotions and the gifts and the wisdom and the strength that you have here. And now you're moving into a state where you understand that. You understand what it's like to walk through the dark, and now you're being asked to come out of it. You understand what it's like to walk through pain and anguish, and now you're being asked to embrace the truth that your North Star is leading you on a path that doesn't have that anymore, because you have the Queen of Air here. You are the Queen of Air. And this is not gender specific. There is no gender connotation here. This is divine feminine energy. It is the energy of Themis. You have that sword of truth, that sword of justice. You know how to cut through the bullshit because you see everything. You see in the dark. You see without your eyes. You see, but your understanding of what you see now comes with a side of deep emotional awareness of just how damn difficult this whole journey can be. This whole life thing can be. And you don't judge anybody for it anymore. We've got the card 50 with sacred gratitude, reverent appreciation, and prayer. Absolutely. And I love that she's touching a tree. That is something that I noticed. You know, a lot of readers and a lot of spiritual teachers and witches and Wiccans will talk about the essence of touching a tree for healing. And I was like, yeah, right. You know, I was a deep skeptic. And then I started spending a lot of time in Mother Nature. And I would touch a tree and I could feel this essence of wisdom, this essence of ancientness, but this strength that I could feel within the tree reminded me of the strength that I have within myself. And because of that, I learned how to communicate more. I learned how to understand the essence and the soul within everything and everyone, and how to really, really see how everything flows together and everything is a part of the whole and everything really matters. It's like you plant a tree and the tree grows and the tree gives us oxygen. It gives us breath. And breathing is what we need to stay alive. If we stop breathing, we're dead. Like plain and simple, we're dead. Yeah, you can be on a ventilator, but you're not breathing for yourself. There is nothing left. And if we don't have oxygen to breathe, there's nothing to breathe. There is no life. Therefore, there is no life without Mother Nature. There is no life without these elements and the things in the world. And if there is no life without it, then we have to see that we have to nurture the things that give us life. We are not impenetrable, or we're not, what's the word I'm looking for, Spirit? Invulnerable. There's another word. It's that thing that teenagers have. Invincible. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. We're not invincible in this world. We would like to think so at times. We like to think so. And sometimes we go through such miraculous situations that we're like, holy crap, I can't die. But we can, and we will, at some point in our journey, we will. And Themis actually was the mother of the fates. And that means that her daughters are the ones that in mythology cut the thread of our lives. So this is a guaranteed kind of thing. We live, we're born, we live, we die, we go back into the soul's essence, and then we choose if we're going to repeat the process. For some, there is that choice. For others, it's you go back through because you need to still learn, whatever it is. But when we come to a place where we understand that the things in the world, the things that we think are lesser than us because we're humans and we're great and blah, 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 whatever. Like, I'm not saying that humans are terrible. I actually love humanity. But we should love the earth and Mother Earth. We should pour out our love for this place that we live in, because we are deceiving ourselves when we think that, hey, if we burn down a bunch of forests, it's not going to matter because nature always finds a way, right? Nature finds a way, but oxygen can't be here without the nourishment and the oxygen provided to us by the plants. If we keep killing off things on this planet, we put it into a state of turmoil, and the planet is going to attack us in turn. I'm sorry, I don't know where this came from. Actually, I do, because Themis wants us to understand there is a balance to everything, which is, and this feels like something you're learning, there is a balance to everything. There is an order for everything, which means that even the animals and the plants that we have in this world are here for a reason. They have a natural order to why they're here. They're fulfilling their orders. We've lost sight of it as a society, as a humanity as a whole. And there are those rising up, becoming aware, and starting to step up. It's not necessarily about fighting back, because I wanted to say fighting back, and then I was like, no, it's not fighting back. It's like stepping up and speaking up about this journey that this world has been on, because we understand what is needed in the world. You're one of those people who understands. And now we're getting back into that Aquarian humanitarian energy that you carry. You are learning how to infuse this fixed mentality with emotionality, because that elicits a greater awareness, a greater response. When you infuse everything with the true nature and gratitude that you have for the world, the appreciation you have for the world, the physical world, the everyday walk out your door, there's grass on the ground, there are trees that are growing, there are flowers that blossom and then wilt and then go through that cycle again, just like everything else. You have this awareness and this appreciation for these things. And because you have been praying so hard for the earth, now the prayers that you have for the earth is like, it's like the earth is praying for you now, for you to find your North Star, because sometimes things happen in this world that you come to a point where you're like, this is so painful. It's so sad to watch. And I've been there. The forest fires in California this summer were so painful for me to see. The amount of damage, the amount of lost nature. And while I understand people lost their houses and businesses and cities and all of that were so damaged, those things can be rebuilt, but it takes years, millennia, for a tree to be planted and to regrow to the level in which it was before we as humanity destroyed it. It takes time. In the in the realm of human perception of time, it takes time. And now we need to learn how to have gratitude for the things that we have around us all the time, because they are blessings. And if we keep taking them for granted, it's just like taking yourself for granted. You don't move forward if you take yourself for granted. And then we've got the card 32 with power over difficulty, reclaiming your power. And on the back, we've got the card 8, divine masculine, electric, active power. There you have 3 5s here. Like, we have 3 5s. This is telling me right here and now that you're learning how to take all the chaos and the pain and the anguish and the trauma and the tribulations and all of the strain and stress, and you're learning how to pull your power from those moments, to find appreciation for the small moments of quiet, of solitude, of transformational moments where you know that you have had to endure the worst, but you're learning how to take all of those moments and transform it into an active power within your being so that you can move forward, so that you can help others, so you can have an equality of healing within this world. Some of you may be fairies, or you may be drawn to the fae, the Tuatha Dana. You may feel as though when you go out into nature, all of a sudden everything is magical. You may be visited by the fae. I am still learning of my fae ancestry. I know that I have it very strongly and they've always called to me, but I am still learning. Yeah, we've got the card 10 in burden. This feeling, this weight that you're just an ant. You're just this small person. What can I do to change this? I can't do anything to change this. Something that I was thinking and then I didn't say it, and I should have said it because that's how it always goes, is we've got 5s. We have 4, 5s, 7s, 8s, and now we have 10. It's like the more that you realize these things, the more you're able to skip certain steps in order to change and transform. Granted, there was still 2 cards to come out, so, we might end up seeing them. We've got, 3 cards. We've got 21 with sacred space and 36 with grounding. So we have a 9. We had 9s, but 3. And then 19, unlimited possibilities. Okay. Essentially here, you're learning that it doesn't matter how small you think you are. It matters what you know to be true. You have seen all of these burdens, but you understand that this world that we're living in, Mother Nature, everything that we do is a sacred space. You understand what it's like to hold a sacred space, to hold a ritual, to be respectful of where you're at, to be respectful of what you have around you, to be respectful of yourself. And you have been working with the earth. And in very, very strongly earth energy here. I know we have other energies on the board. You even chose the water energy, but I actually picked up the water energy elsewhere. For you, very strongly, you are an earth energy, learning how to adapt to the other energies, learning how to incorporate them into your journey, because you need to do something. I don't know what it is you need to do, but you need to do something in this world. And it is going to take strong, active power within you. So you're learning how to shed burdens from yourself by entering into this sacred space within yourself, grounding and realizing the unlimited possibilities that you have. An ant can carry astronomical weights in comparison to its size. They work together in a community. They make these vast networks, and they all work together, but they all do their work. They do their part. And that's something that I feel like with you, it's like, yeah, but nobody else does the work. Nobody else does their part. I do it, but nobody else does. In order for other people to do it, you have to stop thinking that you're the only one that's doing it. You have to take yourself out of that mentality and realize that your mind is literally a sacred space. Your mind is a sacred space. So the more that you hold on to this mentality of burden and toxicity and conflict within your own mind, the more you actually limit yourself and you skew your divine masculine into an energy that you don't want it to be in. This is asking you to really ground yourself into the softness of who you are, to understand that Mother Earth is one of the most nurturing energies there is. And the only reason why we aren't able to see that is because we think of it in the sense of a rock. But Mother Nature and this world is so much more than just a rock. It's not just the third rock from the sun, and that might be significant for some of you, but it's more than that. She has water and air and earth and trees and birds. She has softness. She has suppleness. She has everything that you and I need to survive a life as a human, so we can learn, so we can grow. She has everything that we need. You are at a point in your journey right now where you are learning your own earth essence, where you are learning that you have everything that you need, that you always have, and that all of these pains and these burdens have led you directly into this awareness that you are the one that has the power to overcome the burdens, to overcome the difficulties, to plant the seeds of what is going to be birthed anew, and to know that you are creating a sacred space in the world through your actions. You are grounding everything into reality so that you can take action, but you have to align your divine feminine energy with this ultimate truth of what you are capable of doing. You may be very angry at the world because humanitarians, idealists, and I am one of those people, can get very angry at the world. But what is the point of the anger? The point of the anger is to spark something within you so that you realize that you are the one capable of making a change. You can, like, it's not about whether you can or can't keep perpetuating this mental cycle. You can if you want to, but you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Look, there's a new spiral forming, a new awareness forming for you. It is so much more grounded, so much more solid, so much more real. It's so deeply true to you of, I don't have to struggle anymore. That is not the life I choose. I have learned everything I needed from this struggle. I choose to change through adventure, through experience, through transformation. I choose to change my life through creativity instead of through conflict. And I am going to stand bastion for the other people, shine my light out like a lighthouse, and they will follow. They will learn how to unravel the spiral of what was before and rebirth a new one. Formed in beauty, formed in grounding, formed in truth, nurtured and created through active engagement in healing and sharing and truth. Truth above all. Wow. Okay. Pile 3. All of these messages have taken on a completely different tone than I have expected. Some have been softer, some have been firmer. Like, it's just been very, very amazing for me. So pile 3, thank you for being here and for your energy being contributed to my channel. It is so deeply, deeply appreciated. I want to say thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between our energies so these messages could flow through. I want to say thank you so much to the great Goddess Themis, the great Goddess Themis. Some of you may have Athena as a goddess coming into your awareness. Just side note with the owl. But I want to say thank you so much, Themis, for everything that you do for the collective, what you've done throughout history, mythology, what you continue to do to bring forth the awarenesses that need to be brought forth, for working with me, for everyone, but also for me. And thank you so much to Spirit for everything that you have done, everything you continue to do, all the love you pour into all of us, and for these messages that I am blessed to be able to bring forth and to share with the collective. If this resonated, pile 3, please go ahead and hit that like button, share it out with your friends and family on social media. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Down in the description box, you will find links to my author page on Amazon. And from there, you can check out that Saturn retrograde guidebook, as well as, if you're really angry, go ahead and check out something spiritually catchy. It's how you transform the anger of wrongs and perceived wrongs and trials and tribulations into something higher, into empowerment of the self and empowerment of others. And there are some great shadow work techniques in there that I work with and use. So go ahead and check those out. I also want to ask you guys, if you would be so kind, tell us down in the comment section below how you're doing, because the perspective that you have on the earth and what we could change is so needed, so important. And I love hearing about these kind of things, because even just a small change for each one of us can change everything for humanity. So I am always open to learning something that I could change from someone else who has greater wisdom than I. So please let us know. All right, pile 3, I love you guys all. I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile 4. If you chose the 4th card and rune, the card Flow with the number 20, as well as the rune, the Scythe, this is the message for you. So I want to open with talking about the Scythe just a little bit, for the sake that the Scythe is one of those runes where if you read up about it, or if you know anything about a Scythe, oftentimes we think of the Death card, or we think of death, we think of the Grim Reaper, we think of loss, of fear, of things like that. But the Scythe in history is literally the tool that was used to reap the harvest. And that's so important to remember, because that really shows us that there are so many meanings to things, and we attach a fear-based meaning to something when it brings true benefit to us, because we're afraid of harnessing the benefit, harnessing what we have done. Some of us can say, okay, but I don't want to reap what I've sown because I haven't sown anything that is of value. And if that's the case, then now it's time for you to face that which you have sown, so that you can move into a space in which you plant seeds for something better, something new, something more healing, more loving in your life and in your interactions with others. The other message of the Scythe actually ties now back into this Flow card. With the card number 20, it correlates both to the Judgment card as well as to the High Priestess card. And the Judgment card is literally the card of making those final judgment calls. It's making those final revelatory moments within yourself for what you are called here to do, what you are meant to do. It's about learning how to rise up from this fear that you're going to be cut down by something or someone because of mistakes that you may or may not have made in the past, or because of fear of someone doing it to you, and realizing that we're all on this journey. We all make mistakes. We're all doing the absolute best that we can at any given point in time. And if you can be one of those people that stands up in the world and says, I understand this, and therefore, if we're all this way, then I too am this way, and I don't need to judge myself. What you're doing is you're cutting away the things that have been binding you down and holding you down from being able to harness the true essence of natural flow and creativity in your life. I'm looking at this Flow card and I see her melding with the water energy, and I kept seeing images from the battle in the 5th Harry Potter, where they go to the fountain and there's this big ball of water that, Dumbledore and Voldemort pass back and forth. And I want to say I can't remember how it ends. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie, and that doesn't happen in the book. But This is about you learning how to harness something that should flow through your fingers. You're learning how to take something and to form it into something different, but it's something that the whole world is telling you, you can't hold that in your fingers. If you ever think about the nature of water, they say you can't hold water in your hand because it flows through. Even if you close your hand, you may have just a tiny bit that's left here, but it gets through everywhere and it falls out because water wants to be in a flow state. But if you can learn how to take that energy and work with it and work in a state of flow, then you learn how to really balance everything. You plant the seeds and you reap the harvest of what you want. Now, the energy that Themis is bringing through is to let you know that when you understand energy in your own life, when you understand your own divine flow and harmony within, that's when all of those mental restrictions and perceived physical restrictions start being cut away from you. The scythe can be something that we look at and we are afraid of, or it can be something that we look at and we're like, yeah, bring it on, because I am ready for things to be cut away, because I can't be in this state anymore because it feels like I'm drowning. And you aren't meant to drown. You're meant to rise just like the fullness of a super full moon in the night sky, blazing its truth and its illumination into your life and into the lives of us all. You're here and you're ready to shine the essence of light into the dark, the essence of harnessing being in the flow state, the essence of the divinity that we all hold within us, and the regality of being in this state and working in this state and knowing that there is a time for action and a time for rest, a time for illumination and a time to reflect. You're learning all of these pieces because you are now hearing the calling of your heart. And when it comes to the judgment call, you can absolutely call on the energy of Themis and say, Themis, please help me make a firm judgment call for my soul, for my path. And she is more than willing, more than happy to come in and help because the world needs her. They need her and her sword of truth. So she will help cut away any and all illusions for you to see the truth. You have to step yourself out of fear that the truth is not something that you want to hear, because it is. The truth will never bring harm to you. It will bring awareness. It will bring growth. It may be perceived as harm or painful, but if you can step into a greater awareness, the things that cause us pain and cause us harm are there to help us grow through so that we don't go through it anymore. She can help you cut away all of that and help you come into this state of receptivity to divine wisdom, to divine edicts, to divine justice. She's gifted this world with so much. She's gifted us with the seasons and the flow and the fates. She's gifted us with an awareness of the fact that there is a destiny and a way to reach out to find that destiny. But she's gifted us with guardianship and protectorship and truth and beauty and how to come together with people that we just really shouldn't get along with. Like, it just always amazes me when I think about Themis and Hera getting along, because I am divorced and I know that I have struggles with my husband's ex-wife. I know I have struggles with my ex-husband and his wife. And I know it's very hard to step up and be the bigger person in those situations. It's really difficult, especially when you're the one that's always the bigger person. But Themis was the bigger person all the time. She knew Hera and her emotions, but she knew that they came from a place of love. And so she nurtured that. She gave to her. She loved her and helped her understand that there was a commonality between them and that Hera wasn't alone in the experiences that she had with Zeus, but that both of the women experienced it. Sometimes we can get caught up in the pains that we have felt when it comes to certain things in our life, whether it's a relationship or whether it's a creative endeavor, or whether it's just our own personal healing. And we can lose sight of what it's like to be in divine flow, because it feels like when we're in divine flow, all we're doing is cutting shit away from us. And then you wonder whether there's actually any benefit to divine flow, but there really is, because there is a time for reaping and a time for sowing. And when the time for reaping has ended, then it is time to rest and plan to sow new seeds. There is an end and a beginning to everything. And that is the essence of the divine flow. So when you learn your own, you learn how to harness it. You learn how to work with it. You learn how to move through it. And that changes how you work in the world. That changes how you flow in the world. And it changes how you interact with others in your life and in the world. And I really did not expect this to be something where relationships came out. And then, of course, here we go. You've got the Two of Wands, the Choice card, and the 12 or Scribe card. I'll lower that so that these two are even. And these cards are literally like where you go from here. And then on the back of the deck is actually the overall energy of what the goal is. So we have the card 23 with integrity. How am I not surprised that we have the card integrity? And you know what? We're just gonna pop this right here. Okay. She's a little nude. And that's a really fat owl, but I love it. You know what? There's actually a golden apple here. Okay. The golden apple is actually tied to Greek mythology. Gaia, or the Mother Earth, or Rhea, depending on what you're reading, gifted a tree with silver branches and golden apples to Zeus and Hera on their wedding day. It was Themis's children, the Hesperides, who were tasked with the role of protecting this tree. And the tree, the apples gift, the person who eats an apple is gifted with immortality. So here we have these two energies, but we have this golden apple. We have this immortal soul. And we all carry an immortal soul. Our immortal souls are all learning the art of integrity. They're learning the art of being true to oneself, but also to stand in one's own awareness and own power and make the choices that are necessary. So you may feel as though there's been this conflict in your life, as though there are two separate entities that you have to fight against. You know, this Two of Fire card, really, it feels so strongly like Hera and Themis are teaching you here. I just recently, like literally yesterday, was talking to my husband about how uncomfortable it feels for me to hang out with his ex-wife and her family. It's something that I do because of my stepson, and I'm going to continue doing it because it's the right thing for him. But it doesn't mean that me personally, that I feel overly comfortable. And I said yesterday, sometimes being the bigger person is one of the hardest things to do. And I get really tired of always being asked to be the bigger person. I get really tired of always being expected to be the adult, to be this, to be that. But the reality of it is that I have my own personal integrity. And I know that at some point when there is conflict in any kind of interaction or situation in our life, we may get into this state of, I am so damn tired of. But if you aren't the one who does it, how is anyone going to learn how to elevate? You're the one in a state of awareness. You're the one in this state of harnessing the integrity of the truth of who you are in your life and in the world. No, we've got the cheetah and the owl, and this is telling me that this is about you learning how to take your wisdom and move rapidly through your life. Now you are learning how to harness your emotions and your personal power and stop seeing them as two separate things, but seeing them as one. Every choice that you get faced in this life is going to lead you on a path somewhere else. And again, we have the repeating golden apple here. This tree is the tree of wisdom. We see this theme all throughout history. We see it in everything. So the question is what do you want? What kind of flow state do you want to be in? What do you want for your life? What needs to be cut away? What things are you telling yourself that are holding you back? So for instance, with me, I was telling myself, I'm so tired of this, or I have really maxed myself out in being the bigger person with my ex-husband and his wife over the month that I feel like I shouldn't have to do it in this situation, but I should because it's up to me to do it. The conflict is between me and another person. The conflict is between my comfort level and someone else. It's not about hiding away. It's about knowing that, hey, this conflict is here and it prevents me from feeling as though I have love and support, as though I am flowing in life. It makes me feel blocked up. It makes me feel restricted. Why do I feel this way? Because of choices that have been made, whether by myself or someone else. And this is where we're at. But we all have made choices. So it's time to own those choices. When we own that, then we stand in our own integrity of, this is who I am and I've laid myself bare. You can do the same. Or you can be cut away from my life. And I don't mind that because I want people in my life that carry the same level of integrity that I do. For the people in my life who cannot be cut away, and this is going to happen in some situations. You may have conflict with a spouse. You may have conflict with the parent of your children and you're no longer together. You may have conflict with someone and it's someone that genuinely cannot be cut out of your life. So what do? You stand tall and firm and lay yourself vulnerable in your integrity. You share that part of you, that part that knows the truth, that holds to the truth of who you are, and you shine that forward. And you say, this is who I am, and this is what I expect to be brought to the table. I can help you learn how to bring this to the table to meet me as an equal, but I will not sacrifice who I am and my truth to make choices that are not true to me, that are not part of my integrity, my code of honor. Because I know I've planted seeds of truth and goodness. And so I am going to move from there. Sometimes those things are really hard. It's hard on a person because we're human. We are human. We may have divine souls, but we are human. And so we go through the gamut of the human emotions. And we have to learn how to flow with those emotions because when we flow with those emotions, we're able to better harness our own personal power, our own truth, our own grounding, and our own emotional energies. And that emotional energy really fuels that flow state. But we have to make the choice for ourselves to do that. And when we do, then we become the scribe of things and people and in the world. We become the speaker and the purveyor of truth and of wisdom. And people learn, and then relationships grow and relationships heal. And if they don't, then they will have their time and their place. And when you can't, for instance, I can't exactly get rid of my ex-husband. I can't excise him from my life. I cannot take the scythe and cut him out of my life. We have 2 children together. It can't be done. But when my children turn 18, if he and I have not found some sort of common ground, that means that we do not have to converse anymore. But I will know at that point, because of all the work that I am doing now and have been doing and will continue to do, I will know without a doubt that I made the absolute right choice for me to stand in who I am, in my authenticity, stand in my integrity, and speak my truth. And if he chooses to ignore that and to continue with the conflict, that is his choice. But it's not mine, and it's not a burden that I choose to carry. Now, I can't tell you why this message is what I am being called to talk about, but I can tell you that I feel as though it's going to correlate to some situation in your life. This could be your boss. It could even be your child. I know I've experienced that too, where my adult child is going through things in her life that are so oppositional to the lessons that I've taught her, to the ways in which I've guided her. And I, as a mom, want to fix it. I want to fix it. I want to rescue her, but I cannot do that because then I hinder her growth. I know based off of my own personal integrity and the wisdom that I have, that I share in my life, with the close relationships in my life, I know that I am moving from a place that is my truth. And that means that she has to learn for herself how to get through this judgment period in her life. I cannot teach her how to handle her messes if she is not open to learning. And that's something that is really important for you to realize. You may be somebody who is a teacher or a healer, and that personal accountability, that personal integrity level of other people can be a huge, huge painful part, because you have all of this wisdom to share. You have all of this knowledge. You have this healing. And how do you get the world to care? How do you get them to engage? How do you get them to? You don't. You present it. You put it on a platter and you present it to the world. You cut away, or you actually reap the harvest of all the lessons. And then you bake it into this really yummy bread, and you go to the farmer's market and you put it on a table and you stand there at your table. You do not need to do anything more or less than that, because you are doing everything exactly as you're meant to. Let Spirit bring the people who need the nourishment of the bread that you have baked and made by hand come to you. You don't have to keep fighting for it. Stand in your truth. Stand in your authenticity. Stand in your integrity. Choose once and for all that I'm going to stand in what is absolutely right for me, and I'm going to move from there. And the right people at the right time will come in as they're meant to. For me, I'm going to continue to pour out my wisdom and my knowledge and my awareness into the world. As it changes, so too do I. Wow. All right. Can we get some further guidance for... Yes, thank you. We have the card number 2 with courage, strength, fierceness, and family. This would explain a lot about why that's coming through. And then we have the card 9, tenderness, true love, compassion. I love this for you guys. You have a lot of 2s. You may be seeing 222, 2222, anything of that sort. You may be seeing that a lot, and that is literally your guides and spirit coming through to say a closure is coming, a time of transition is here. Have strength, have courage. You are doing everything you're meant to, and you are exactly where you're meant to be. And then on the back, we have 28 with abundance, fortune, wealth, and plenty. All right. So what this is telling me is the reason why I've been talking about all of this, and especially when it comes to like my blended family, is you may be having some issues with yours. And I am one where if there's something going on with my kids, my initial instinct is to mama bear. I will mama bear all day long because in my mind, I have to automatically protect my children. It has taken me so much time to learn that the better way to handle this is not to fight their battles for them, but to have compassion for them as they're going through battles. And that has been a hard transition, especially for my oldest daughter. It's been a really hard transition because she doesn't know how to handle a mom that won't fight her battles for her. But it wasn't worth me breaking myself down and getting involved in messes that I didn't create in order for me to fix them because I created the person who created the mess. You see what I mean? It's a tumble down effect. It's like Themis was a Titan, and she could have chosen to fight the battle on the side of the Titans when the Titans were overthrown. She could have fought on the side of her father and then on the side of her brother Cronus or Saturn. She could have fought for Saturn, or she could see this is what's right, and I cannot get involved in in that section because it's just not right. I know what the truth is, and this is what I need to do. And she fought on the side of the Olympians. She fought to overthrow her own brother. And then she married Zeus, as the second wife. But she didn't do that out of spite. She did that because that union was meant to bring in the Hore, the More, and the Hesperides. My brain just was like, I wanted to say Eurydice for some reason. The Hesperides. Their union brought in the fates. It brought in the essence of natural order and cycles and rhythms. Their union benefited mankind. And when the gods are all worried about themselves and worried about what they're doing and what their powers are and what their rulership is, Themis was focusing on the people below them. The people who needed the help the most. That's what she was focusing on. So she did what she needed to do, including what would be seen as forsaking her own family, because it was time for more love and compassion to come into the world. You're here to help do that. You're here to stand in your integrity and say, I understand that it takes courage to be a part of a family, but I also understand it takes courage to stand up and say, this is what is true for me, regardless of what my family says, and to know that you are worthy of love and compassion, to know that you are worthy of abundance. Sometimes we feel like we're not worthy of these blessings because we're going against what we've been raised to believe within ourselves, within our connections, within our family. Like we're just going against the grain. But we all have to make the choices in our life. We all have to choose what we're going to harness. And with this courage and tenderness card, the real essence of your abundance is based off of who you are. It's based off of your integrity, your authenticity, your vulnerability, your intimacy that you share with others. It's based off of showing others that there is true courageousness in being soft, in being gentle, in being in the flow state, and being receptive. It doesn't take being so firm. And sometimes you can cut away the illusions of what was in order to bring in what needs to be. So we have the card 19 with unlimited possibilities and the card 21 with sacred space. And then I'm going to put this as the central card. We have the card 39 with creativity. 39 reduces to 12. That's a 3. This is a 3. We've got 1s, 2s, and 3s. It's, to me, when I think of 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1 or any of the variations of those, I think of the ace cards, the 2 cards, the 3 cards. I think of the magician and the high priestess turning into the empress. I think of the pieces of all of these different things that I'm aware of. But when I, most of all with the magician and the high priestess, and then fueling it into the empress, it's learning that when you harness all the elements and you harness and gain the wisdom that you need, you fuel it into creativity, into this fertility, into this sacred essence of who you are within and with the world, and it opens up this unlimited possibility. Now, one of the things that I'm seeing with this sacred space, especially on the side of this tenderness, is you need to create a sacred space within your heart. Within the very essence of your being, create the sacred space so that you pour into yourself first. So you pour into your inner child, you pour into your divine masculine, you pour into your divine feminine, and you nourish yourself and replenish yourself and allow yourself to blossom into the unlimited amount of possibilities that you have to create in this world, because your creativity and a state of integrity is where your abundance and your wealth come from. And you have an abundance of these things, but sometimes the world does not take kindly to integrity. That's neither your fault nor the world's fault. It is the nature of evolution. People fear what they do not understand. They fear what they believe they cannot attain. You have the essence within you to be able to help them cut away those fears, but you have to cut away your fears from yourself first. And I will always say that one of our greatest superpowers in this existence is the power of choice. We choose what we believe of ourselves. We choose how we act and react. We choose. That's what we have control over. That's what we have as a power. We make the choice. So what are you going to choose? Do you choose to see that everything has to be a conflict, and that conflict that you have in your life is going to hold you back and keep you beaten down, and that you cannot create what you want to create in your life because it's so different from what you learned and who you used to be? Or are you going to cut away those fears, cut away those false beliefs, and see the essence of who you are? Move from a state of integrity. There is so much respect that I feel coming in for your pile. That is a new, it's not pride. It's not like I'm saying your guides are proud of you, Themis is proud of you, Spirit is proud of you. No, this is respect. This is equality. The Themis is putting forth equality into my brain right now. I just keep hearing equality. You are seen as equal to the higher realms in this world. You don't see yourself that way necessarily. Some of you do. Some of you absolutely do. So please don't attack, because I know that some of you do, and you're just here for this confirmation that you're making the right choices and you're doing the right things, and absolutely, yes, you are. But some of you haven't seen this completely of yourself because you're still working on cutting away the fear. Once you cut away the fear, you're the one that controls the flow. You control the flow of the emotions. You control the flow of power. You control the flow of what you do and do not do in this life. And you can create from that flow state, because that flow state is limitless. It is 100% limitless. You have an immortal soul within you. Once you step into the essence of that immortal soul, that flame that you carry within, that is where your sacred space is. So you go within, however it takes you to go within. There's actually a meditation to get in touch with your intuition, and they have you like walk on a path to a house. And I did this meditation once, and now whenever I lay down and I'm like, I need to get in touch with my intuition, I just naturally go back into that state. But the path is always a spiral path. When I get there, it's always like this unwinding spiral path. And it's kind of like, I think of the Wizard of Oz, because she starts out and she goes like this, and then she goes along her journey. But she has to do the initial like spin around. It seems pointless, but the symbolism of it is that you start in the center and you work your way out, and you have to learn the lessons about yourself by going into the center first. So every lesson therein, you learn what is actually contained in the center of your being. You're learning this. The conflict that has been surrounding you is starting to be cut away. You're cutting it away. It takes time. And it takes patience, and it takes you standing in your integrity and saying, I am strong enough to do this. I love myself. I am compassionate enough with myself to do this. I am a sacred space in this world, and I am worthy of being treated as such, but I have to treat myself this way first. I have to show others how to treat me by how I treat myself. That's true integrity. That's true authenticity. That is true vulnerability and intimacy with yourself. And that is something that takes time. If you haven't ever been taught how to do it, it takes time. But the more that you allow this scythe energy to cut away the things that have been holding you back from living your life in a flow state, and you recognize the natural order of things and the natural order within your own life, and how you can bring that there by making the right choices, by making the choices that come from a place of wisdom and knowing within yourself, that's when things transform. And you have that within you. And Themis is saying this is being rebalanced in your life. This creativity, this integrity, this abundance, all of the conflict is being cut away so that you can be in a flow state and understand the state of flow. And that is amazing, because shit, it takes me forever. It has taken me forever to get to this point. So I don't know how long it took you, but kudos to you, because it's not an easy journey. And I saw 33:33 on the clock and felt called to tell you guys. All right. Oh, pile 4. Always my pile 4s with such intensity and such creativity. I am very, very honored to have you on my channel. I have to tell you that. The energy of feeling the level of respect that Spirit and your guides and Themis has for you is amazing. And I hope and pray that you are able to tap into that feeling, because it makes you stand up taller and stand up straighter and feel more confident, because you know you are respected. And that's a huge, huge deal. All right. Pile 4, thank you so much for being here. I want to say thank you so much to the Goddess Themis for these amazing divine order messages. They have been so illuminating, so inspiring, and so clarifying, and I am ever so grateful. I want to say thank you so much to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between us so that these energies could flow through and the messages could flow through. And thank you so much, Spirit. Thank you. Because it always amazes me when I sit here and actually channel all the amazing things that come out, as well as the amazing people that are in the world. It really does fill me with such hope for the future. And I am eternally grateful. So thank you, Spirit. All right, pile 4, if this resonated, please hit that like button, share it out on social media. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming readings. Down in the description box below, you will find links to my author page on Amazon, as well as links to donate to my channel if you feel so inclined. And down in the comment section below, tell us what this reading meant for you, how it impacted you. Just let us know. I love having community interaction on my channel. I absolutely love it. I try to get to everybody's comments and responding as much as I can, because you guys and your energy are what make this channel grow. And I deeply appreciate it. All right, pile 4s, I love you all. I will see you at my next reading. Bye.